Little nasty, folks. That's just nasty. But welcome back to the Code Chronicles. It is Pags, your lovely host. Guys, thank you so much for watching the series and building the channel. We are cruising through. I kind of have loosened up on goals and saying, hey, I want this exact number, this thing. I do have my own goals written on the mirror that I expect from myself, but I don't know. It's because it's just working. You know what I mean? I'm just having fun. I'm enjoying this, and it's growing and becoming a thing. So maybe we will redefine another goal here shortly, which is 250 subscribers, 10,000 views, I think, or 5,000 views, maybe. One of the two. But again, not really too strict on the goal. For those of you who haven't watched the code series, welcome. This is what it's about. So we've been tracking building a task management system similar to like a Jira or a Kanban, where we can measure our project completion. We have a few of our own features. This is one of them, our project completion. We also have categories that should be spawning off of that. And then we can obviously build our task, all of these additional columns. We were just testing them. We have some drop-down functionality, boom, boom, boom. We've got Clerk for our authentication system where we can log in and log out. We've built our dashboard page. We can boom, pop into our landing page, and then we can pop into our dashboard. And we have our rough dashboard page just roughly thrown together right now. And then we have a Kanban page where we've done a little more intensive work. And then ultimately, I think this will be like a Teams page or something. We'll need to look at the UI. I vaguely remember what that should be at this point. We need to build a backlog page. There's a lot of things we still need to do, but we are doing. Folks, if you want to learn how to build software, at least in a more intimate way, or support me, one way obviously is doing the channel, just typical like and subscribe stuff, which I'm very, very grateful for. The additional thing is I do have my software engineering program, the teachable course, inside of the description. You can check that out, where I'm uploading modules of me just offloading kind of this distilled content. If you saw the Learn React Authentication concepts 25-minute video that I put out, that's how I teach. It's like this audio cut, this concept, we're on to the next. We've got some music, we've got some stuff happening. If not, stay along for the Code Chronicles. This is all a ton of stuff that we've been doing here, which is like learning new ideas, attacking things, debugging, checking out new challenges. There's a lot of stuff in the Code Chronicles. To be honest, I'm very proud of this series. So I do hope it's continuously fruitful for you guys. And let's talk about what we should kind of do today. Gosh, we've had quite the adventure from the Code Chronicles, right? We've talked about some concepts. We've had some hot takes. We've had some good water. The glass is getting a little more foggy nowadays. Maybe I need to run it through the wash. Let's just call it as it is, folks. It's not looking as sparkly as it once was. But golly, we're not here for glasses and water. We're here for programming. Gosh dang it, we're here for programming. Okay, so what I want to do today, let's think about it. Let's think what we want to do. I think I want to try to tackle that red line concept where the user can kind of select where they want to start measuring courses, or fun idea, or hear me out, guys. Hear me out. Or I saw this senior React development challenge for a React dev interview. Maybe we do one of those. I'm thinking about doing live streams of that, of like building React builds, because the other day I built this this path visualizer. Let's see if I can find it. React Pathfinder. Boom. Find the Pathfinder. Interesting, right? So let's see. Basically, building a grid, and build a grid here. Boom. Populate the grid. I was inspired by Clement, the YouTuber. Clement from Algo Expert. This guy, he's so talented. Smart guy, this guy. Boom. So he has a video of him talking about this path visualizer he built, Clement path visualizer, pathfinder visualizer. He built this really sleek thing. I don't know if I spelled that right at all, boom, but it's this. Oh, we have a an ad here, guys. I don't know if you can hear the background music too. I've got just a piano riff vaguely playing. And it's so pretty. It's just so gentle. But basically, he built this path visualizer where you can. It's like a grid system, and you have one node on the map. I'll show you guys my version as well. His is obviously much prettier and cleaner. He has all the animations. He spent a ton of time doing it. This was just like quick and dirty. I just wanted to see it work. Basically. This is a breadth first search algorithm, so it checks all the squares around it. And I think that's the one he's actually doing in this algorithm too, is breadth first search, where there's multiple. There's like A star search, where like the algorithm kind of has an idea where the end node is, but basically you could put two nodes on a map somewhere. Here's like the coordinates, right? So I can move it, right? I can move the blue one up here to position X and 9 at the second row, or technically be the third from the top, the 0, 1, 2, on the 9th position in this. And here's our starting node is the red one, right? So similar thing, I can move this, put it here, and boom, find the quickest path to that node. And that's what all this magical code does here. So obviously I certainly used a lot of Stack Overflow and the tools that I use, but it was cool. It was cool to actually build this, and I vaguely remember if I've referenced it in another video or not, because this is like what started me getting into software engineering, was actually seeing Clement's version of this. I was like, holy crap, that is so cool. Like literally the coolest thing in the world. I think he even has, he's got his repo online, but I think he's got a website for it where it's really cool to see. Sorry guys, and we'll dive into the this is the actual build right here. So, but we'll dive into the task manager here in a sec. It's just sometimes as a software engineer, I love to like tinker with stuff. Like even when I was working at Babson, this was like one of the things. CJ was our tech manager, our VP of operations, of tech operations. Great guy, by the way. Great leader. But this is like what he's like. He's like, you're always tinkering, is what he said. Because after work and stuff, or before work, I'd always be like, guys, look, I built this blockchain thing. Oh, I built this sorting algorithm. Oh, I did this thing. I just super fun for me to play with stuff and build stuff. But so here's what it is. You can like build these walls, I guess, where the algorithm can't go. And here's our starting node, so you can drag it around. And then here's where it needs to go. You can choose the algorithm you want it to sort by. This is what I was talking about, how there's different breadth first search, where it's kind of, I think that's the slowest one, the Dijkstra's algorithm. There's like different searches that you can do. I think A star is the one where the search kind of knows where the thing is, where the node is, and it finds the fastest way to get to that endpoint. So let's do breadth first, and you'll see how slow it is. Boom. So it goes around. It checks all the squares, right? And then finally finds it, and then boom, shoots it off. So super cool thing though. Clement he's like huge reason why I got into software. So Clement, if you ever find yourself watching this video, thank you very much. Cheers. All right. So, and here was my version, just a lightweight version, obviously, and I would love to kind of build what he did, where you have like a drop down and animations. You can pick them up and drag them, and you could pick different algorithms, and all that stuff would be really enjoyable. But right now we're focusing a lot of time on the task manager. But some of those kind of side quests, if you will, they could be really enjoyable. So like I said, I do want to do maybe that React senior dev challenge. See where I'm at? You know what I mean? Test the steel, test the iron, test the sharpness of the blade. See if I really am a senior dev or not. You know? You know when you become a senior dev is when your hat gets turned around. That's right, folks. I went from programmer to programmer. See, I have too much of like sometimes having too much fun, too much of the bro-y fun stuff. People instantly associate it with less intelligence. But then I'm like, in the same token, put the iron to iron. Let's go. You know. So I don't know. Maybe I'll redefine the programmer. You know. The worst kind of programmer, the programmer. Okay, so what can we do today? Should we do the red line thing? Should we do the red line thing? That's what I'm wondering. I think it would be a good component. Let's think how to do it. Would it be a component or would it just be part of the base column? Base column. Let's think how to do this. So, in short, let me show you guys, I guess, what I kind of want to do. So we have base columns, right? I think for the thing. Let me maybe just build a thing here. So we'll say men height screen, right? Background red 500 or 400, and we'll say like width 2, so just a little red line. And we could round it. You guys can maybe hear the welcome to Alaska in the background. Fantastic, you know what I mean? Fantastic. And what else can we do? So this really needs to be side by side of the columns. So maybe we could do something like this, flex, boom. And let's shout out to Clement. We will change column index to just IDX because that is how I learned it. So if IDX equals, we'll just say 2 for right now. We just want it on one of them. But the idea is, and there's obviously a gap here. So what's doing the gap? Gap 4. I think it's coming from right here. So gap 4, MX4. So really we need MR4, would it be? Not M4, but MR4. So that's roughly, now that I'm looking at it, maybe it's not going to be a good component, but the idea is, so how we toggle these to measure the functionality that we just implemented, which is we can look at the project completion. If we go over here, we're measuring the project completion by the column that we choose, that we dictate as completed, right? So this one's project completion is at the in progress column is how we're measuring the completion progress, not by the done column. The reason is because, again, anybody can add whatever column they want. And when they add that new column, they need to be able to add their task to whatever column they want, right? So let me just delete it. And maybe we want to measure our project by whatever column they want, or they being the customers or clients, right? So now we're measuring project completion by whatever column they want. So we can easily effectively change our unit of measure, our finish line, if you will, or manage the progress, if you will, effectively, however a user would like. So for here, I've done project completion at done, and we can measure it now at done. So the red line idea is basically an embellishment. Let me remove the whatever column they want. It's basically an embellishment on this concept. Meaning, okay, so any column after the right of this red line, that's going to be how we're going to measure the columns, right? Or toggling them on. But let's say we put the column here at index, or this red line at index 1. The idea is, oh, we got some height issues, but we'll leave it for now. The idea is these two columns would now measure for our progress completion. So instead of progress completion being just for @done, we would also be able to include the in progress toggle. Right now it's just singular. So if I just switch it to singular, just in progress, boom, it'll just measure in progress. But we can see that's 15.79%. And then also if we measure the done column, oh, not delete it, but the done column, that's 57.89%. So 72.73, 68, something like that, 73% roughly. And that's what we should be seeing if they're both combined. So the way to do it is have this toggle basically push to an array. So both of these toggles, you could toggle them both on effectively, and that would be the same thing as the red line. The reason why I want to do like a red line component or some easy way to measure the column completion, if you will, is it just seems like a better UI UX than the toggle. But maybe the toggle's better now that we're seeing the red line in real life. I don't know, folks. I don't know which one would be a better feature. And I do want to update some of the UI UX now that I kind of I've watched back some of the videos, and I want to change some of the like inputs. They look a little clunky, kind of. Not terrible, but just a little bit older. So I'd rather just do like the streamlined single line, and update some of this stuff where it's still fine software, but we definitely want more of a pristine, kind of cleaner feel. So did I turn the oven off? Oh, I did. I was cooking earlier or baking earlier. Okay. Don't attack my baking, folks. I made that sound like I'm out here baking all day, every day, But what I do is I have these oven meals that I throw in the oven real quick. Saves so much time. I don't have to think about it. I just throw it in the oven. Boom, don't even think. I'm working. Meal's done, and go eat it for 15 minutes, and then you're done. You're back to work. You know what I mean? So I love finding efficiencies in my day. So even like with the YouTube channel, right? It takes time to print the videos. It's like I have to export this audio from this microphone from Logic Pro onto the video. So that's one export. Then I have to export the video to iMovie, or export it from iMovie, where I put the base camera and all this other stuff together, and then ultimately upload it to YouTube. And it's like a 2-hour long process for just exporting the videos. So for instance, at nighttime, I will export the video before I go to bed. Efficiencies. So the laptop's working and I am sleeping. So likewise with the oven meals, it's like, well, it's basically like having a private chef to some degree, your own personal chef, and then boom, your meal's ready. And then you're back to work, and it's kind of a easier, clean process. I will say. So it'll do for now until I get the private chef. It'll suffice. It'll suffice. I'm not doing too bad, folks. Well, at least in the sense of living in a beautiful place and a beautiful country. Could be a whole lot worse for me. So, but anyway, back to the task manager. Let's flip the hat back around. Let's focus in. Programmer style is it's no moss, right? Let's get back to business, folks. Let's get serious now. Let's get serious. The programming is done. Enough of it. Enough. So we need to make a decision on whether we want to stick with the task manager or excuse me, not the task manager, but the red line or the toggles. But I think today I almost don't want to do it. I almost just want to clean up the project, streamline some stuff, make these things look better. What else? We needed to change the update in the base column. We have our update modal that's not properly linked up. So we have to do, oh. To do all this stuff in progress. And where was the other one? Right here, boom. Okay, we don't actually need that. What did we do for our other options? Options, I believe it was going to be the task store. Columns. Options, what is this? String, undefined. As string, how about that? Problem solved. I believe that is exactly what we want as well for our in progress. Options are our update modal options. So let's go here. Boom. And we should have updated our modal. Boom. Status. Oh, those are actually our columns now. Is to do, in progress, and done. Could have fooled me. Could have fooled me. You love it, folks. You love to see it. Okay, so now we should see. Yep, could have fooled me. Now that's part of our column options, and same with our post. It looks like they have different text. They really shouldn't be different. They should be the same. But that's kind of minor CSS stuff. Again, and base input. This is what I loved about making the executive decisions on some of this stuff with like the input, for instance. We could hopefully change it all pretty quick, right? So instead of rounded 80, we just do like rounded 10 or even rounded none, right? And what else could we do? We could actually do border, bottom, like this, and it's a BG background secondary, right? For both these things, and boom, bada bing. I don't think that's going to be the long-term fix, but I do think a input something like this would be a lot cleaner, and same with the drop down. I think. Okay. Now we're just getting picky and avoiding task. Sorry, folks. sorry, folks. Let's go back. Okay. Let's not mess around let's not muck around too much. Let's not do that. Okay, so I guess the red line idea doesn't really matter as much as just getting the string array working, because that's fundamentally doing the toggle. We could do both, and then if we do the red line idea, it would basically be toggling both of these columns for us. So let's explore that. I think that's going to be the way to do it. And then maybe at the tail end we will go ahead and try to do some sort of challenge. I think change it up for a sec, do a little detour, because I also don't want to get super stuck on just building the task manager 24/7. It is really enjoyable, and I do ultimately love what we're building, and I'm going to continue building it until it's like proper, But I think it's always appropriate to sometimes tap in there and build a few other things, We also need to work with the responsive design. So we're going to need a header or a sidebar that goes to the top of the screen, because obviously our responsive stuff is not working. So let's build for both those things today. I think so. Responsive design and the string thing, the string array of columns that we're going to measure our project completion by. So let's think about that. I think if I go to my endpoints, task column toggled, right? We basically want to stringify this task column name, and we're going to push this into an array. It's going to throw an error because we don't have the updated contract. And boom, now we do. So that's the updated contract. And what if it just worked? You just that alone just worked. How amazing would that be? But it won't. It won't. I know why too, because we have to pull in. Well, I guess we should have maybe considered fixing the reactivity problem as well, but not right now, I suppose. One thing at a time, one thing at a time. We're only human. Okay, so boom, boom, boom. Let's go to our dashboard. Okay, so project completion. How are we measuring? Are we measuring from the task store? We are. Task store, task column toggled. So if we go to the task store, let's see, task column toggled, get task column toggled. And of course, it's going to be the response data. And that was to find the latest one. So let's keep that just in case we want to kind of go back to that idea. It's not a terrible idea, to be honest. Just to kind of say you can at least choose whatever one you want to measure it by. This is saying you can at least choose multiple. Because the other thing, here's all of them, right? I think either these are all of our, no, these are all of our tasks, excuse me. But this still should give us an array of our projects, I think. So project name overall task. But let's see if we're running, right? Close out of the mobile version. Boom, I'm gonna put this console off to the side, guys. Okay, so we're running, and then it goes to the catch block down here. We have an error, probably in our server. So let's take a look at our server. Similar deal, posting. So we're posting there. Oh, and then finding many. So where is the issue here? We're running, and these we need to label. I don't think we're gonna see them. Maybe we won't. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Running 4. Let's just see where it breaks in the code block. I'm looking off to the side, running 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so task column toggled, find many. It's not liking it. Oh, and I do need to ask Chester about that data flushing issue. I think that is a very important thing that I could learn about for sure. So let's pop open our document storage. Okay, so task column toggled array or task column toggled, this should be an array. So now if we toggle some, maybe we'll see an array pop up. So we're going to the next page now. It is an array. Okay, cool. So we have in progress. Let's refresh. We should have some more. Oh, it's just going to be one at a time as an array to do. No, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right, folks. Okay, so if we do could have fooled me. Boom. Let's see, 28. And boom. Could have fooled me. So it's not maintaining all the previous ones the way I thought it was going to, right? In the this is front end versus back end engineering, right? Where I just thought me pushing it into an array that already exists. If we have column name 1, I know it says colon, but say column name 1, column name 2. And if we just had column name 1 toggled in that array, I just figured if we just post another, it would just do this. But I guess what we need to do is technically index for this ID of the previous array and then add to that array. So let's consider doing that and then find many. I don't know why that's not working. Task column find many. Let's just double check our Prisma schema. Yeah, I really don't understand why that's not working. I feel like it should still find them. Unless it's a data flushing issue again, which I really don't enjoy, that we have to drop a collection to flush the data just because we're changing the schema and stuff. I think there's got to be a better way to do it. So I'll talk to Chester tomorrow. I chatted with him yesterday, but it was actually about some other stuff. That guy is so fantastic. He just works and works and works and works, and like such a good person too. Like I could be a little bit, I'm smart and I'm young and I'm this and that, and I'm supposed to be cool and I'm the programmer, but he's like genuinely such a hardworking, just calm, has like nothing to prove, but like probably the smartest guy in every room he walks into, type thing, or most rooms he walks into, I'd imagine. And it's just like really humbling, So sometimes I have to learn that, you know what I mean? But I'll be honest, the music career was not good for my ego. It was tough, folks, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about that. Maybe I pursued it because of egotistical reasons, even. So we can kind of make fun of it now, or talk about it in a way that's hubris now. I don't know if hubris is the right word for it. Let's look up hubris meaning. Hubris, excessive pride or self-confidence. Maybe that would have fit. I don't know. Didn't do very well in English either, folks. I got a 10 on my English and ACT, so which is amazing. And then I did amazing in reading and science and math. So yeah, I've got an interesting story. So maybe one day I'll do a podcast, or maybe this will be the podcast where I talk about it all. Here, but I will at the very least talk about the music journey, which was really enjoyable. It was very challenging too, and very depressing, very sad and hollow. And I learned that about the ego chasing this idea of, like 100%. I'm not even hiding it. 100%. I was chasing it for fame and notoriety and status and all that stuff. 100%. There's, I've come to grips with that. Like I don't need to try to hide it. I don't need to try to pretend that's not true. 100%. That's like one of the main reasons I was doing it. I want to be the top superstar. And the scary part is I started to actually, after years of learning music and piano and learning audio engineering and production, and that was all really fun and humbling and challenging, and it was this beautiful journey and process where I would say I became a talented producer, a talented record producer, and even songwriter, I'd say towards the tail end of it, but I started getting momentum, and I sold out 2 shows in my time. I sold out my very first show, and it was so nerve-wracking. And it was smaller cap venues of like 250 people, 200 people maybe, and it was just like, it was not good for my ego. I'll put it that way. It was really good for like a life journey. Really interesting to be on that side of the stage where you're on a stage and there's 200 people in the crowd holding their phone lights, and you're asking them to do something, and people are like, they'll yell at something if you say like, hey, scream oh, and they're like oh, like, all right, sweet, like, all right, everybody hands up. Everybody puts their hands up. Like, it's crazy. It was genuinely wild, but it wasn't good for my ego. It was really bad for my ego, because and even to this day it still has a reverberation through my life where I'm like, oh yeah, like, well, I've sold out shows, so look how cool I am. I still leverage that a lot, and I don't think it's good. I don't think it's healthy. You know what I mean? I don't think it's good. So point being, Chester, I find to be very inspirational, very, very, very inspiring. And he's the opposite end of that fence. You know what I mean? He's so humble and just great. You know what I mean? Solid person. So So that's full circle on that, where I'm and he's a couple of years older, and I'm 28, and being like, oh yeah, look how cool I am, like, I'm this, that, and the other. So anyway, kind of off topic from programming. Let's do this. So when posting an array, I'll still have to find the ID of the toggled column array, and then still update that specific toggle column array, I think is how I'm gonna have to do it. So I'm not honestly, it's an idea that I'm willing to walk away from, to be honest, and just leave it as the functionality that's working. I've just that one. If we just change back the Prisma contract, change back a few things, honestly, not opposed to it. You know what I mean? But I would like to do. If we do that, then I would like to build in a tertiary or secondary function where we do embellish that function. I think that's how to do it. Okay, so we're gonna leave this as this task column toggled, and we'll probably rename it because we'll let the user define a completed task column where they can plop their task here. Boom, that's 100% done. But I do think that red line. So we're gonna ultimately do it. We're gonna ultimately do both. That red line will end up being, let's see. npx run Prisma, boom. Okay, we're back in there. That red line will end up being the way people can quantify progress. So we're gonna end up doing it, but I don't want to get rid of this basic, just like working functionality that works. And instead of doing, let's go to the base columns. When one is toggled and we know that the base column is toggled, we want to color and indicate that the column is toggled. So, I think our functionality is still working now, right? If we just flip this, we still should see it all working, unless we changed more. Oh, we've got some sort of error here. Let's go to the dashboard. Overall, okay, so looks like we might have broke something. Probably an easy fix if we just go to the base column, see what's. Probably should push some changes here at some point. Yeah, there's been a few changes that we have not pushed. So okay, let's undo a few things real quick. Prisma, boom. Yeah, guys. So and to be vulnerable, you know what I mean? Like telling you guys the music store, the ego stuff, like that is a very, very real thing. And I think on YouTube, and I think in Instagram world and social media, everybody's like trying to be perfect. And I'll be a 1,000,000% honest. Like I am not going down that road. I am not perfect. Like no, I'm like 80% there, 90%, but I'll never be 100% perfect. Like that's just insane to consider, you know, and insane to live by. And with the music journey too, let me narrate that while I'm kind of fixing this bug. With the music journey, I was like trying so hard to make that image look so good, and it was like I was getting little bracelet brand deals and little things there and here, and but it just like it was just such a miserable existence, because end of the day I just felt so bad, like all the time, so depressed, so sad, felt like I was living the wrong thing. And truth be told, it like really felt that way. When I stumbled into software kind of through the crypto stuff in 2020, I started building these just like crypto nodes and was like, oh, this is so fun. If I could do this for a living, that would be awesome. And fast forward, you know, I did. Because even with music, back in like 2017, 2016, I was building websites for my music and my pages and da. But I was just using like Wix and like, you know, WordPress themes, excuse me. And it was just like, I don't know, like, I don't knock myself for doing the music thing. I really enjoyed it and learned a lot and got quite a ways and learned a lot about myself, picked up some cool skills. But yeah, I just remember that being like so miserable. Even at my own sold out show, the second show I sold out, it was like February 7th of 2020, right? Like right before all the pandemic. And I remember standing on that stage, and you wouldn't guess it. You would not be able to guess it, because like you see there's a photo of me, and maybe I can even show you guys, right? Right, back on music. There's a photo of me on stage, right? And here's the programmer, right? There's a photo of me on stage. Here it is, right here. Boom. Like all of this, right? Sold out show. Like, you know, this venue person's happy. We're trying to plan more shows. I'm getting called with like small record label deals. I'm getting like radio spins, all this stuff. Like people asking for photos, you know, obviously like all the social status you could possibly ask for. And I remember just sitting on that stage and being just like behind my eyelids, right? So on stage, I'm smiling. On stage, you know, I'm still entertaining. But behind my eyelids, I remember being so depressed and so sad and just like going home even that night. Like, no, this sucks. Like this is not fun. So could have fooled me. You know what I mean? Could have fooled me. And then when I stumbled into software and I was up to like 3 a.m. building these nodes, just having the time of my life, like, I don't know, it just felt right. It just felt good. And just kind of that feeling has never gone away from me with software, where it's like, I don't feel like I need to be the cool guy. I don't feel like I need to be, even though I put on this, like, I'm the programmer, like deep down, I do really enjoy software, and deep down, I really do enjoy solving Rubik's Cubes and like kind of being a nerd, you know what I mean? And I don't mean it in a bad way for the people who also are like, no, I've got a Megaminx, I've got a 7x7, you know, and like all the, you know, stuff, you know what I mean? But yeah, because it's just like this, because now I feel like I'm bashing people who are into that stuff, but no, it's like I love it. I like, no, this is the happiest I've been and the most fulfilled in my life I've been. You know, obviously everyone has their bad days and moments still. Like my life is never going to be just 100% happiness. That would be insane to also expect. But I can definitely say overall there's such a better like weight off my shoulders. I don't have to prove to people I'm smart. I don't have to like tell nobody anything, or like, hey, I'm like the thing I'm trying to go for now is like being less of what's it called? Like making fun of my own ego, being like, oh, and I still walk around like I sold out some shows and I'm cool or something, you know, when there's people doing way cooler stuff and building, you know. So I mean, it was a cool thing though. It's something to talk about, but yeah, to like pin your whole life around that, where every corner, every tweet, every Instagram post has to be about like raising your status, and it's just a nasty space. And that's like what social media does to people and did to me. 100%, 1,000,000%. I was like trying to do all the status raising things, all of it, like all the time, nonstop. So let's see, post column. Let's see if this is getting into our database. So I do love that. I'm like, even my tech sales buddy, he was trying to make fun of me. He's like, yeah, like I sell to the nerds. I don't program the software. And that's when I was like, okay, cool. I'm happy to be on this side of the fence when he's trying to frame me as the nerd. I'll gladly take it, happily. Wouldn't even care. You know what I mean? Nothing to prove. So that's what I love about it. And I apologize if I come off as arrogant, egotistical at times. Certainly still learning, but I could tell you I've got quite a ways from those music days. Like, You know what I mean? People say ego is big as Texas. Like that's where I live. My ego is bigger than that. Like it was on a whole other thing, you know. Because it's tough. It's tough. It was so tough to listen to people when they would try to like tell me to do something, and I'm like, yeah, but like, have you sold out a show with 200 people in front of you? Like, because even a girl, if she's like, oh, but I got like 10,000 followers, I'm like, yeah, but like, have you had 300 people show up for you? Like, you know what I mean? Like it was the most leverage you could possibly pull on like most situations, and it's just not a healthy way to live. Even now, I still like lean on it. I'm trying to get away from it. So, but yeah, just to be transparent with you guys, that is how I was thinking about it. So, a little bit vulnerable, probably not the prettiest image, but it's honest. It's honest. You know what I mean? It's honest, and what else can you ask for, right? So we're having a Git request issue, it looks like, and I'm still struggling to understand why that is. Find many task column, boom, boom, boom. And I wonder if it's a data flushing issue, because we do have a few of these array ones. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the collection one more time. There's got to be a backend engineer who's just absolutely triggered every time I do this. Like, why are you dropping your data all the time? There's got to be one. I know it. Who's just like, dude, you don't need to do that. You can just map it. You can reuse it. You can, boom. Okay, so now it's working. So I think that was the issue. We just had to drop the data. We're getting everything to the store. So not the biggest software episode, guys, but hopefully a good story. Hopefully some good awareness. Hopefully some good conversation, right? So how about this? Let's build something a little bit more fun. We'll say base. What do we have? Base sidebar. We'll have base mobile sidebar. It'll be base mobile navigation, I guess. Not sidebar, because it'll go on the top technically, so it's not a sidebar. Oh, Rubik's Cubes. I can maybe talk about that. So I used to stay home and ditch school just to solve Rubik's Cubes. Freaking epic. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't get better than that. And I was getting good at it. You know, like I was getting, and I'm going to store these routes, I think, in a tertiary file, so we can, how do I do this? Or maybe do I just build the navigation altogether as mobile responsive? Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. Build this whole thing as mobile responsive. But back to the story though. Let me remove this navigation. So I would literally like ditch school, so much school, just to watch YouTube and like learn stuff on YouTube. Like I was just couldn't explain it. I would hated going to school with a passion. Hated it more than anything in the world. Let's see, flex call. So if we go flex row, yep, we're gonna need to do some of that. And then in the in-app layout, I think we're gonna need to change the sidebar. Okay, let's think about it. So it's gonna be class, and we'll say flex. Well, first of all, what does this break when we do this? But we want to do flex and flex call, I believe. But we want the sidebar to be flex row after medium screen size. So it should always be with full, boom. So when we get to this medium screen size, it'll go to a flex call orientation at some point, boom, right there. And that's where we need to edit our sidebar. So let's, instead of min height screen, that'll only be after medium screen sizes. And then after that point, wait, what is this? Sidebar. We definitely want height still 20 or something, right? Why does it do this though? Do we have absolute positioning with our, let's close all this other stuff, all this jazz. What if we made this relative so we don't muck up our top bar too much? I don't like how our base columns do all this weirdness. So let's go to the dashboard, see if it's just a column issue or if it's the dashboard page as well. Boom. So that's roughly what we want. We just want that top bar to looks like it's a column issue. And instead of flex call, that'll be after medium screen sizes. And we'll do flex row. And we could say gap. Again, gap Y4. We can just say gap -4, so everything is gapped out. Items -center. So I would ditch school. Sorry guys, sometimes it's hard. It's hard to write software, narrate, talk about what I'm writing, and then also tell a story. So it's a lot going on. But so I would ditch school and ask my mom to call me out and just like stay home and write and learn music. I was gonna say write software, but I didn't know software at this point. And I would like write music, learn this, learn that, learn how to string lacrosse sticks, learn how to solve Rubik's cubes. Like I was just always learning all the time, nonstop. But it'd be about random things, like completely just whatever seemed enjoyable, or like it wouldn't be specific to. Let's do hidden, and we'll say MD flex. So we'll hide that. Boom. So at least we can kind of see a dummy navigation now. Just how it's going to work on mobile, right? And then boom, after a certain point, should go back to normal. But why does this? Oh, I see. Actually, I don't. Why is it flex row still? What's causing that? What is causing that? Oh, was that okay? So flex. Let's see. Flex row, but I thought it's after medium screen sizes. Is it small screen sizes then? Interesting. Very interesting. If we just get rid of that, will that still? Okay, let's just do that then. And we need to get our Taskify logo. Say medium and MD flex call. But yeah, so I would ditch school all the time. Like I'd call my mom, I'm sick today. Mom, like my ankle hurts. Like just any excuse in the world to not go to school. Like I hated it. Hate. Double hate. That's my Grinch impression. Yeah, but I literally didn't like it. I didn't like it one bit. And I still got by. I'd still do the homework. I'd still have to call teachers out of class and figure stuff out. You know what I mean? And do out of class assignments. Let's figure out this base column thing, and then we'll do the coding challenge, I think. So we have absolute. I think that's going to be exactly why we have an issue here, but and it is. So we'll just do MD absolute, and boom. Okay, perfect. Well, that was easy. Well, let's pop into the React coding challenge. Let me push all these changes finally, so we're not. We'll say update changes, kind of a loose one today, but fruitful conversation. But anyway, so I hated school, hated it with a passion, right? Calling my mom, but I'd still learn, still get the homework done, still like get a C in a class, or if I was like getting a D, I would talk to the teacher, what do I need to do to get a C? What extra papers can I write? Whatever it was, right? And I did terrible in high school. Like I didn't like it. I just did good enough to kind of skate by, right? And college comes around and I start doing really well in college because I'm like, okay, now it actually matters. Like now grades matter, so I go to community college my very first semester. And then I do really well. I get a 3.86, like all A's, one B plus. And then from that point forward, let's go ahead and pop open a new folder. say React challenge. Let's see if we can do this. So I get a 3.86, and then I transfer up to University of Northern Colorado, and I get a 4.0, perfect 4.0, and in really tough classes, but things I'm good at, like math classes, science classes, economics class, all this stuff, right? Things I'm naturally okay at, and then I ultimately transfer over to CU Boulder, and go get my degree in economics there. So, and then completed it, and finally finished with my degree in economics, and in the whole time, I'm like, I haven't been to school like from like 7th grade onwards. like I have did so much school, right? Like, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I'm not encouraging people to do it, but like I said, I did horrible on my ACT in English. Like basic apostrophe stuff I completely missed because I just never learned it. I just didn't care for it, I guess, or whatever it was, right? And I'm not, again, I think that's a terrible example, terrible thing to say, and terrible thing to do, because you should take academic performance well. But I think what it taught me was like how to learn, because school definitely teaches you how to learn, but it's also teaching you one way of learning. Like there's multiple ways of learning, and I forget what they're called. We'll say ways of learn. Maybe this isn't going to pull it up, but there's like a linear approach to learning. No, this is going to be like, oh, how's your best learning? But like your flavor of learning, right? But that's not what I'm like searching for. There's other word, and maybe somebody knows about it, but there's like styles of educating yourself beyond school. School's very like, okay, here's the work, or here's the text. Here's like the lesson, here's the homework, here's the test. Like it's like a linear thing. But sometimes life isn't like that. Sometimes life is this like, blotchy kind of learning, and you have to draw the connections and do your own pattern recognition. And there's like team play of learning where in school it's like very secular or modular, right? Where like each student is like supposed to be their own entity, if you will, right? And that's like not life, you know what I mean? So and what I mean by that is, in school, and this is what I kind of like make fun of even on coding tests, right? When people are like, oh, you can't use ChatGPT for your coding test. Like same thing in school. It's like, you can't use your calculator to do math. You can't use Google. And like, I'm sorry, like that's just dumb. Like that's so stupid, because like I get learning basic math or something, but it's not a good approach in my opinion. I don't know, but what do I know, right? Like I'm just a guy who sold out shows and thinks that's cool or something, right? But the point I'm trying to get to is it's such a interesting thing, because I like just was like at home all the time. Like my dad would get called, because my dad was out working. He was on the road all the time, and he was just out working, and so he'd get called by the principal all the time. Like, can you please get your children to school? My mom loved her to death. Sweetest mom in the world, but she was a total like, I could be like, Mom, could I please miss school? She's like, okay, honey. You know what I mean? Like after a little bit, which is fine, right? That's kind of what you want your mom to be like super loving and kind, but from a set, whose turn is it? But from like a what's it called? I don't know. From a standpoint of I don't know, like getting a kid on school. Like I was, and maybe it's because I've got older brothers and older siblings. So maybe, when you're like a younger sibling, they're like kind of just over it, not in a bad way, but they're just like, we've gone through the process. We've seen it all. Like we expected our first kid to really perform well. And by the time you're third or fourth of the bunch, right, your expectation, I think, goes down a lot. I think that's natural. I think that's natural. I'm not knocking anybody or parents or anything like that. I think it's very natural in most families. It's like the firstborn obviously is going to have the highest expectation, the most like, you know, even when they're like a baby, like the firstborn is like really taken care of and like, oh my gosh, should we wake up the baby? Should we like get him the right sauce? But like the fifth kid comes out, they're like, oh, just feed it crackers or something. Like it'll be all right, you know, like not saying like, you know, my parents were actually like I'm sure they were still very loving and very kind and still nurturing and, you know, cared about me but I think everyone gets what I'm saying, right? Where it's like, oh, you have like 7 kids or something, right? Like the 7th one, you're like, oh, whatever, just like give it an apple or something. Give it some applesauce, you know, it'll be fine. Let's see, React Pathfinder. I'm going to steal this grid component because what basically the thing is building a tic-tac-toe game. That is what it is. So set grid row, boom. We'll say grid, set grid array, and we'll turn this to grid array. Sorry guys, I'm trying to stay on a linear path, meanwhile talking about non-linear learning, right? And modular learning and how these things don't make a lot of sense. But I think that's the school system. It's like a very linear path, right? And obviously, you know, my brother said higher expectations than me, and then by the time it was me, it was just like, oh, like just get through it, I guess, you know. And ironically, actually, no, I won't say the thing I was gonna say, but yeah, so I ended up going to school and, you know, and doing well. And I vaguely forget why we even started with this, or why I even started down this conversation. But what was it? What were we talking about earlier? What was I narrating? What was I podcasting earlier? Ego, music story, boom, boom, boom. Chester being a great guy. Guys, I apologize. I vaguely forget, but I think it was something around. I think it was something around. Let's see, grid row. Okay, so we're setting the array. Boom. Okay, that's what we want to do. Set grid array, and then we're using the grid array. Grid, here we go, div, boom, class name, background. We need borders here. We'll say padding 3 border. But I don't like the school system at times when they like make people feel dumb. You know, and it's like, I've got an economics degree and like went on to go be an enterprise software engineer and sell out shows. And I don't say that to be like too arrogant. I hope we can make fun of my hubris, right? As a community, right? Where it's like kind of a joke, but on the other hand, it's like, you know, these teachers really like roasted me and like I literally had a counselor say like, don't even waste your time applying to school. like you're dumb. And then fast forward when, like, you know, when you get some opportunities, it's like, I don't want to be egotistical about it, but because I was going to say some egotistical things right in that very moment, but it's one of those things. Like I just think the school system should be like refactored as a whole. Like the way the education system is really archaic, right? Like it's still industrialized. It's still from the industrialized revolution, right? When they wanted factory workers, and I'm not knocking the school system too. It's a base level line of education, which is really good. You can baseline educate your population, right? But just in America, it's different. It's like our literacy rates are not as high as like China, for instance. It's not a good thing, I don't think, all the time. So why is this not working though? So background red 100. Grid array. We're setting the grid array, right? Let's run it through the code block. Maybe there was some light at the end of the tunnel of that whole conversation, like of being a terrible student and then ended up being like really like doing okay in life, you know, or like doing something okay. And I think maybe the through line is like there's a lot of really great people out there. There's a lot of really smart people out there doing a lot of really cool things. And like, you know, like some students went on to go play the NFL. Some kids went on to go play the NBA. Some kids went to like build businesses, make tons of money doing YouTube, being a model, doing this, being an actor, being, you know, just college educated, being an engineer, being whatever it might have been. And I think school can sometimes, I don't know. EQ is very important. I think you do learn EQ in school, but the IQ portion is not where I'd go to school for it, to be honest. I think you learn EQ much more than you learn IQ, like going to high school or something, right? Because you like learn how to socialize, you learn there's like dominance hierarchies, you learn how the dominance hierarchies kind of work. But for like raw IQ, I could think of a lot better strategies to curate your IQ, right? Like, and that's bad because school's supposed to be advertised as this like we're educating you, we're making your IQ better. And I think for instance, a good way to make someone's IQ better, throw them in the middle of a problem and tell them to figure it out, you know? So, oh, I see what the problem is. We're pushing a row with X, Y. I see. And this is coming back like this. I see. Okay. That's what we needed. So grid.x, I think. Speaking of high IQ and low IQ, I might be on the the lesser spectrum in this very moment, but let's figure it out. Okay, so push row grid. We have the X. Grid.x. Guys, it's tough. I sometimes deprecate myself too much now, do a little too much self-deprecation because I've done so much self-grandiosity, right? Where you know, like I said, you sit in front of a sold-out show and you're like, oh my God, I'm so cool. And you just ego hype yourself up all the time. So you wrote up push. Why is this object still being an issue, right? What if we just push a string, right? It still should push something, right? It still should push this ultimately to the grid array. Like we still should see a grid array with something in it. So why is it not? Okay, so we have a grid array. Let's think about it. So build the grid. Here's the grid. We're looping through. We're setting the row. We're pushing a 1 in the row. We're setting the grid. So if we just xnate all this real quick, right? Said const. Or how about this? Just set grid. Const grid. Sorry. Let's go grid.push I. And boom. So that should still push out, right? 3. Shouldn't it? Oh my goodness. We're on. Nope. That had nothing to do with it. Why? Why is this not working then? This still should push out an array with 3 things in it. Should be able to map the array at the very least. Justify center, item center, flex call. We need to kick in overdrive, folks. So I'm gonna get a little more focused here. Stop getting too far off topic, but I do want to get better at this, where it is like podcast material, podcast worthy, talking about good concepts, good stories, a little bit about me, good or bad, right? And then also build some really, really good software on the way. I think that would be really, really cool. So let's see, grid push, set grid array. What if we just remove the array? Why is it doing this? I feel like it still should print out a string at the very least. At the very least. Grid array. We should see grid. Boom. Let's not even set the grid anymore. Let's not even build it. What did we break? What did we break? Yeah, what is going on? Why is this? Hello. There it is. Okay, so there's hello. Grid array. What if we just literally put our array here? Dot map. Say item. And we can return item. Why is our map not working? Array.prototype expects to return a function. Expects a. Oh my goodness gracious, folks. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. So this is a senior dev challenge, and potentially I could work on a few things, right? No, I'm messing around. Okay, so we can get into it now. Let's go ahead and time to sharpen the stone, turn to beast mode. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, folks? So let's steal that code again. Let's get it back in here. Pathfinder, Well, we can actually just make the object again. So y is j, that's right. So we can say grid.x. It should be. Let's go ahead and do this Pathfinder challenge. We just want to build our grid real quick. Technically, we don't have to do it this way. This is for pathfinding because we do, like, we could just do a 3x3 div instead of generating a cell, if you will. Because this we're also building nodes with. So let's see, folks. So x, let's remove this. Turn grid.x. We should be returning this object though, right? Still. So let's console log, see what we're working with. Thought this would be, so we have an array with an array. Yeah, that sounds right. So an array. Oh, but I see it's with an array. So this is actually the cell. Maybe we don't want to do an array with an array. How about that? So map. Okay, let's try cell. Boom. We can say return. Cell. Boom. As it's. Folks, why is this not working the way I want to work it? Okay, so we're gonna do a different approach then. We are gonna do a different approach. Let's think on the fly. Whose turn is it? Grid array. Let's not do this. Boom, boom, boom. We're gonna make it simple. Simple as a pimple, right? So here's a cell. Class name border, P4. Boom, there we go. And let's just go ahead and say const grid equals this. And we need an object. We need 9 objects. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that'll be position 0 basically. Position 1, 2. This will be row 1, row 2, row 3, 1, 4, 5. We need one more. Grid, boom. Okay, so cell. Grid dot map. Cell, boom. Here's all of our cells. There we go. Okay, so cell. Boom. There we go. Grid.map. There we go. Boom, bada bing. And we can build our grid this way as well. We can either say grid calls 3. Okay. Padding 4, let's make them a little bit bigger. Padding 10, we'll say cursor pointer. Hover, background gray, 300, right? Boom. Okay, so you can hover over the squares, and you guessed it, folks. What are we building? Tic-tac-toe. Class name. MI4, font bold, text XL. Okay, let's get into the logic. So we're gonna need a player, right? We're gonna need a component for a player, whose turn it is, right? Whose turn. And we're also gonna need a component to define the winner. And we're gonna need a way to check the grid score as well. So let's do this. Font bold as well, text XL. And say MY4, whose turn, and who won. Boom. We'll just say winner, right? So we need those, folks. I need to go to the restroom so bad right now too, but basically we want to click on a square, obviously flip the thing to X or O, right? So you can have X's, you can have O's. Let's think how to do this. Font bold, so text XL. So in our grid, we basically want to have, these are gonna have positions, and then we'll say players mark or something. Players mark will work. So first it'll be an empty string, right? And then we'll need to populate it with an X or an O. So I hope that makes sense, because we could say this, right? X, and then if I say down here, return the player's mark, or cell.player's mark rather, we could see X right there. So I think this is one way to do it. And then boom, let's say this person goes right here and it's an O, boom, well that'll be there. So that's my way of thinking about it right now. Let's see, I really went into this unprepared. I didn't think too much of it, but we'll figure it out. We'll say mark grid. And let's see, we need the cell index, I believe. And when we click on the cell, we can have it on click. It's going to say mark grid. Oop, not index, forgive me. So mark grid, pass in the index, and we'll also need to know whose turn it is. Whose turn it is. And after every turn, we'll flip to the next person. So mark grid, basically we need to find the index. So we're going to get the index. Oh, we're not in TypeScript. Whose turn it is. We'll also get whose turn it is. And then we need to discover const grid to be changed, or cell to be marked is going to be the index of the players. Let's say grid.index of index. Well, I guess we actually have the index, so we could just literally say index. Index grid dot player mark equals, sorry guys, I am cruising equals whose turn it is. So let's just start with X for now. So if I click this, maybe we will see this change, right? Mark grid. Nope. Do I need to return it? Console.log. Just make sure we're clicking. And it's simple. I don't even think we're clicking it. Okay. Okay, let's just see why that is. Click. Oh, it is getting clicks. Okay. I just didn't see the console ninja. And let's start with X and O, and then we just need to define the game rules, I believe. Guys, I got 10% battery left. Gotta go to the restroom. We are cruising as fast as we can, right? So basically I just want to populate player's mark with this. So if I console log, how about this? How about we console log this, see what it is, empty. But if I click this one, what is it going to be? Should be an X, right? So how do we assign that? How do we update? Oh, maybe we got to do one of the state changes, right? So we say const grid, go set grid. Maybe this is one way to do it. So you use state. Under pressure, he does perform, folks. It's the most important thing. Perform under pressure, boom. Okay, so const grid, get it out of there. And then we'll set grid. We'll say find the new index and basically set grid to, it'll end up being grid, or it'll be const new grid equals so const new grid equals what is it going to be? It's going to be grid. So it's going to be the grid plus the changes, basically. So we still need to find the index of this. Okay, so, but we do have the index. We already know which one it is. Okay, so hold on. Let me slow down and write the thoughts out. Console log grid, console log index, console log grid index. Players mark, boom. So, and then we need players mark to be reassigned to O. That's all I want to do. So it's showing it. Oh, and then I do need to reset the grid to that, right? Not sure why I changed that, but boom, boom. Okay. So we just need to update the grid to set grid of, I don't know if we could just pass that in. That seems ill. Seems ill, right? Seems like we need to pass the old grid in. So old grid, arrow function into old grid, and boom, right? Oh, we're getting a new square though. Okay. And let's just change them real quick. So if whose turn it is equals, let's say player one. You can do this logic and then else do the next bit of logic. And basically, after every time too, we need to set whose turn it is to the opposite person's turn. So player 2 and player 1. And we should be able to see that update as well on whose turn it is. Boom, player 1, boom. X, player 2, your turn, boom. Okay, so then we'll also need to block off the squares if, guys, I gotta pee like a racehorse, so we need to not add the old grid, I guess. Is that not what we want to do? Really, we just want to over to ChatGPT real quick, but I also want to build the game rules before figuring out this bug. Okay, so game rules, basically we have the array 1 0 1 2 as a winning bit. So we need to measure that's a winner. 0. So if we look at all the indexes, this will make a little more sense. So we have all of our indexes, right? Let me refresh. We've got a fresh board. So 0 1 2, that's a winner. 0 4 8, that's a winner. 0 3 6, that's a winner. All these directions are a winner, right? So we can hard code them, or I'm sure ChatGPT has a much more brilliant way to do this. But guys, I'm trying to cruise. And basically, we want to check the grid index if. Okay, let's see. 6 7 8, that's a winner. 1 4 7, that's a winner. It's a lot of winning things. So winning combinations. Let's see. Guys, yeah, I'm going to just pop this in ChatGPT and go to the restroom. I have got to use it very much. Let's see what it does. Set winner, boom, boom, boom. It does have combination winners. Okay, player mark. It's kind of cheating. It does feel wrong. It does feel wrong to do this, but boom, game is done. Okay, folks. I need to go to the restroom. I will see you on the next one. Cheers.